Before we get started in today's video, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Cal B from Cal B and Rocco Cat. There it is, Cal. Thank you very much for that mug. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I needed something to put some of my tools and pens in. So exactly what I was looking for. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Now, let's get to tearing this guitar apart so we can put some new parts in it and give it to one of you guys. What do you say? Hey everybody, I'm Brant, and today I'm going to be disassembling this Donner DST200. This guitar is going to be taken apart and modded somewhat, get a little work done to it, and then I'm going to box it up and send it to one of you. I'll have more information later how I'm actually going to do the entries to win this guitar. But yeah, one of you guys will win this guitar, just like I won this guitar from Brian over at Searching for Tone. First, what are we gonna do today? Well, if you watched my last video or the video I had when I first got it, I think I said when I first got it, these tuners have got to go. These are split top tuners, which I really enjoy having split top tuners. I want to keep that going on. These tuners are horrible. Horrible tuners. I have had for a little while now these Wilkinson split top tuners, which I'm going to be swapping in for these. I also, while we're looking at that part of the guitar, have rolling string trees and we're going to put in place of these gull-wing ones. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a pure tone jack. Sorry, it's in the bag. And we're going to put that in the jack plate jack. You're going to have to say jack like 12 more times when we're doing that. And that's it for now. I do have other parts in the way. What do I have coming on in the way? Well, as soon as they get here, which should be today, I will show you. I've just edited out 15 minutes of me rambling, so you're welcome. I can get started getting this disassembled. Yeah, there you go. See you in a bit. Jack. All right, got the strings off. Those were some unruly strings. I did not like those strings at all. Anyway, so I'm gonna pause here and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna take off all the hardware. And we're gonna actually take a look. I'm gonna take a close look, take you guys with me and see, just because we haven't looked at it before on this guitar. I don't think Brian did, and I know I haven't. I'm gonna take off this neck and see how good the fit is in the neck pocket on the Donner DST200. Be right back. All right, so interesting thing about these tuners that were on the Donner, they are individual split top tuners. Now the Wilkinson tuners that I got, I'll show you here. We have our little ferrules here and our screws. And then we have this piece. And there are screw holes in between the tuning machines themselves, but it is all one piece. So is this going to fit? Well, and should I replace the ferrules with the ferrules that came with this, because they're still in there and I'd have to knock them all out. I'm going to try and leave the ones that are in there. Moment of truth. Ooh, it's pretty tight. So it appears that they're in there. All right. It also appears that all my screw holes aren't going to line up perfectly. Okay, so I am going to have to, I think I'm going to leave the ferrules in. I can get it in there, but I'm going to have to re-drill these holes on the back, or plug these two and re-drill. Shoot, well, that's going to take a little bit longer than I expected. That's okay. Let's take the neck off since I'm here. I'm just going to set this aside. It'll be a little easier working on that once I have the neck off. All right, got the neck plate off. Tiny hole there. What is that? Some wood. All right, let's see. Let's see how tight this neck is. Oh, I can tell already it's not very tight. That's one that just slipped out. So, yeah, lifts out super easy. A little bit of nubbage there, but honestly, not much. Not much. And that pocket is super smooth. There's some sawdust and stuff in there, little chunks, wood chunks. But that is super, super smooth. Nice job. And this pinstripe on the back. I don't know if you could notice that little gap right there, where the pinstripe hasn't filled in. Not sure if that's supposed to be like that or just probably doesn't matter. Okay, so headstock's off. Oh, I know what I was going to look at. Let me look at, I was just curious. Will these pass through the body? Nope. Nope. Do I want them to? Maybe. Might drill those holes out a bit so that can pass through. I've never done that before. But there are many people that I watch that claim, and not wrongly, I don't think, claim that that is, ooh, I'm gathering sawdust. I need a little baggie, Ted. Actually, I'm going to. I'm going to get a little baggie. There's some that claim that having the screws be able to pass through the body and only screw directly into the neck will give you a better what's the word I'm looking for? Better connection and better adherence between the neck and the body, or the neck in the neck pocket, I guess. Does that make sense? What am I saying? I don't know. I'm thinking about getting a bag. This isn't really sawdust, but it counts, I think. It's better than what I've got, which is absolutely nothing. In case you're like wondering, why is he bagging up sawdust? It's because if I have any refinishing to do, or any little dents to fill in or anything like that, I can mix it with CA glue and sawdust. Again, this is stuff that I have not tried or done. It is stuff that I have seen done, and I would like to try it. All right, let's take a look. What did I get? Goodies. So for the electronics on this guitar, we have, I literally just got these. In this back, we have from Music Lily. That wiring diagram. We've got some pickups. Here are all the screws. Oh, that comes all wrapped up like that. Nice. So if you can tell from the wiring already, we've got, and these are Alnico 5, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what I ordered. Music Lily neck pickup. Staggered poles. This is the neck pickup, so that'll go there. This will be the middle pickup. Staggered poles. And go, yep, Music Lily Pro, middle, right there. And last but not least, we've got the Music Lily bridge, which is with the chrome cover, which will hopefully fit no problem in there through the pick guard. I hope so. Hope so. We're going to take a look at that. What else did I get, you may ask? Well, I bought something I said I may not buy. I went ahead and got the Lamsan wiring harness. And it's kind of cool that it comes on this little board here. So we've got wafer switch, full-size pots. I can't remember if these are 500 or 250K. I don't see any markings right now. I'll have a link to it in the description. And we've also got our tone push-pull, orange cap capacitors on both. So we can split, well, this humbucker. Let me get it in there. Yes, and those came with knobs, which are chrome and black, which I may end up using as opposed to these. I tend not to like these top hat knobs, mostly because when they're in plastic and they have the volume tone, just the way it's printed on there. These are a little bit, I don't know if you can see. Make out volume there. A little more discreet, I think. Less noticeable from the 22nd row. That's going to be it. So I have some work to do on this neck, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so got some things done overnight. I did get the tuners in. I had to fill the holes on the ends for the screws on this end and this end. I just cut off the end of a toothpick, dipped it in wood glue, hammered it in there, let it sit overnight. Then I snipped them, filed it down so it's all flush, and then I re-drilled new holes for just these end screws. Once I did that, I was able to get these tuners in and everything screwed in real nice. Tuners actually seem pretty good. They're not too loose or anything like that. They're not rattling at all. I think they're in there pretty tight. I didn't change out the ferrules for the tuners, so I think they're okay. I got some new rolling string trees, put those on. I did have to use the old screws and spacers for these rolling string trees. The ones that came with it were pretty small. So I use that, and I'm just getting ready to tape everything up, and I'm getting ready to start filing the ends of the frets. I'm going to use this 90-degree file first, make sure I get all the edges off, then I'm going to do the beveling edge, then we'll go into filing the fret ends, kind of rounding them as much as I can. I don't know, done this a handful of times, not a whole bunch. But I always tape up my fingerboard when I'm doing this part. I don't know. I see a lot of people that don't do that. I don't know if taping up the fingerboard restricts how much it's filing. You tell me what you think if you have an opinion. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started doing that. Okay, so we are done with the neck for now, until we get the body together and the strings back on. But yeah, I don't know what all I caught. At one point thought I was videoing, and I actually just took a long exposure picture, which doesn't help anyone. So I'll just go through real quick what I did. I think I told you about the tuners and the string trees. So on the frets themselves, I just went through first of all and filed all the edges and then tapered them with a file. I did file the fret ends to try and not round them completely like ball end fret ends, but to soften the corners a little bit, and I think that feels pretty good. Went ahead and leveled all the frets, checked the levels. There were a few, and I ended up chasing a few high frets because I was just using my crowning file to level them, to get them down. But they are all leveled now. I'm going to have to check that once the strings are back on, and I have conditioned this fretboard as I was watching J-Man today talking about frets moving after he conditions the fretboard because they're not necessarily glued in. So I'll go back and check the levels a little bit later, maybe right before I put strings back on. I might have to redo some of that process depending on if anything's moving or not. Then I went ahead and used the fret erasers and polished all of the frets, and then we conditioned and oiled the fretboard, the fingerboard rather. So I think it looks pretty good. Oh, and I did put a coat of, I might do another coat of the Howard's Feed Wax on the back. I didn't sand it or anything, so I've not done the Howard's and Feed Wax without sanding first, so I'm not sure how that's going to come out. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how much difference that makes, but it all looks really good. Feels really nice and smooth. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to address the nut. I probably will. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. I think this video is getting a little bit long. I'm not sure when I'll be able to revisit this and get to work on the body and doing some of the electronics. I've got quite a few guitars coming into the shop. I have 3 acoustic guitars right now that I'm looking at on the other side of this camera. So we'll get to it, and then once we get everything together and tested and everything's in working order, then I will give the details, maybe an announcement of some sort, announcement video of how you can enter to win and get this guitar given away before the end of summer, which is sneaking up on me. I'm gonna have to go back to regular work soon. Yeesh. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you once again for hanging out with me, watching the video. And as always, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Cheers.